Hi, everyone. All right. So this is the presentation on the principles of photography. You just got done doing the elements of photography and art. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go into the principles. So the principles of photography are how the artist uses the elements. So think about the elements being the tools, and now the principles are the things you're actually going to build using it. There are 8 of them with some subcategories. They are balance, gradation, emphasis/contrast, variety, movement, pattern, harmony/unity, or proportion. I'll go through each one of these and you can choose which one you would like to make or use for your project. So the first one and the one with the most categories is balance. This is an example of balance. You can see using this photograph, left and the right side are balanced. And I like to think of these as using a scale. If you could take images on one side or one part of the image, and then on the other side of the image, the scale would be level. So balance refers to the visual weight or the distribution of the design throughout it. So you can see with just this photo right in front of you, you've got that dark image right up here. And then you've got another image right up over here. So that is creating a balance. All right. There are 3 major types. There is symmetrical, asymmetrical, and radial. We're going to be going through each one of them. Chances are you are very familiar with the symmetrical and the radial, these two. And you might not 100% be on with the asymmetrical. So we'll go through that one. All right. So symmetrical balance. Identical on both sides. This is the one you're probably interested in or you know from math class. You divide a line straight down the middle. It could be vertical. It could also be horizontal. It actually could also be diagonal. And if you would fold that image in half, they would be identical. Now, this is a photo, so we know that it's not going to be 100%, but the weight of this image and the weight of this side of the image are the same. So you can see here's another example of symmetrical. These are one of the few places where putting the image right in the center is what we do want. Usually we tell you to find something with the rule of thirds in one of the corners, but this is creating symmetry, and that's the point of this project. You can see here's another example of symmetry and our last example of symmetry. So these are repeating images, okay? Meaning that the left side and the right side repeat each other or are mirrors of each other. Okay, so this is asymmetrical. Asymmetrical is balanced through size or tone or color. Something in the image is going to feel like they are balanced from the left side and the right side. This is a great example here. You can see you've got this very tall pole right here. There's only one here, but there are several over here. But think, if you took these several ones and you stacked them on top of each other, okay, they would be about the same size as this one over here. So there is a visual weight from the right side and the left side that is balancing each other out. Here's another example. You can see you've got your big one over here that is... It's a little bit closer, so it's bigger. There are more over here, but the balance, and if you're looking at the size that they take up on the photo, they're about the same. Moving down, you can see here's another example of asymmetrical. You've got kind of this empty space over here that's balancing out with this space. All right, the next one is radial symmetry. These are all, again, underneath of the balance principle, okay? So radial symmetry, okay, starts with a circle and then images kind of follow along this and they repeat all the way around, okay? So this is the way this one creates balance. You already saw this one. You could see here's another example of one that creates balance through a radial or a circle, okay? This one also does have a little bit of left-right, as do all these. They do all usually have a little bit of left-right, but they kind of always are working in the circular pattern. All right, so just as a quick review, all right, they are there's through balance, okay, there is symmetry asymmetry, and radial symmetry. Okay, all of these are under balance. So if you decide to use balance, you can use any one of these. All right, the next one, and these other ones are a little bit shorter than balance. We have gradation. Gradation is a gradual transition from either, it could be size, it could be color, it could be gray tone as shown in this one here. Somehow, all right, there is a gradual transition throughout the composition. So you can see with this one, it starts dark, and then slowly as we go back, these images get lighter and lighter. Okay, so we gradate from black to white. This one could also be used, it's kind of like value with the elements, but this one can deal with more than just gray tone or tone throughout it. Okay, gradation occurs with size or tone. So you can see here that this one goes from like these bigger ones, and then slowly they get smaller as they go away. But also this one is double. It's got the lines getting smaller, okay, and it's also going from dark over here to getting lighter as it goes down this way, okay? And you'll see that a lot of these start to overlap with each other, okay? This one could be used in the elements of leading lines, okay? Things that are showing us where we need to go. This is another great example of gradation, okay? It's showing it not only as a gray tone that goes black to white, but it's also showing it as small and then gradually getting bigger. So gradation is showing a slow change between objects. All right, so far we have gone through balance, which is basically different types of symmetry, and we've now gone through gradation. So those are the first tool. Here is the third one. Emphasis or contrast. It's when something stands out to create a focal point. So when we're talking about our focal points, this is a great one if you can really make it work. All right, so you can see with this one, you've got darkness all around it, and then this kind of bright yellow, all these cool tones around here, and then you've got this yellow kind of standing out to make us look at it. All right, here's another great example of one that is emphasis or contrast. You are getting an emphasis here on this very brightly colored rainbow umbrella over here, as opposed to all the whites and grays that are out through the rest of it. Also, just as note, there it is right in the rule of thirds. So this is an example of emphasis or contrast. You're contrasting this and this together. All right, here is another example. Emphasis. You've got all of these repeating images here. They're kind of blurry, and then you are putting an emphasis right here. The contrast between all these blurry gray things and then this clear black and white image right over here. So this is an example of emphasis or contrast. All right. This one is variety. Variety, this one's one of my favorite ones to use. Variety is when you deliberately use various size, colors, or shapes. They don't all have to be the same one. So you can see like with this one, you've got similar shapes, but all different colors. So what you're trying to show with this one is that all the colors are different on this one, okay? This one, while this one showed different colors, okay, this one, it's all made of the same material, but the point of this one is to show the variety of the different shapes made from the same texture or material throughout the entire image, okay? There is an offshoot of this one. You don't have to know this one. You don't have to put this on here, but we figured we'd talk about it. Juxtaposition. It is not its own principle. I want to say it again. This is not its own principle. It's just its own little thing. So putting two images near each other that are different, but when they see next to each other, say something about both images. So you're using variety to also kind of show unity. It's a very confusing thing. So you can see here, you've got these two people, you've got this woman and this man who completely aren't paying any attention to each other. And then behind them, you are juxtaposing, you are putting this image, you're purposely taking a photo of them in front of this image to show the difference between the two people. Okay. This one over here, you've got this guy over here who's kind of got his weapon is this guitar that he's sitting there playing music, and then you over here have a guy who has an actual weapon going on. So you're putting this guy by himself and this guy by himself might not be a very interesting photo, but when you put them together in the same photo, it becomes a lot more interesting. This one is also pretty fun to do. It's going to be a little bit more difficult for you to do this one with your cell phones. In some cases. So movement is to give the appearance or show the act of an object in motion. So if you know how this goes, you can see that they left the camera lens open while she was dancing so that you can see a little bit of this motion blur going on. You can see the same thing with this one. They probably had this guy pose here for maybe a second while the shutter was open. Then he broke this, and you can see the actual movement of the images going all over the place. So this is an example of movement. But also, while this one is showing movement happening, this one is you're capturing motion. This one would be a little bit easier for you. So you've got a very fast shutter speed so that you are stopping an image while it is moving. You can see that these women are in the process of dancing. One of the things, I know I've talked to this to you about someone, is the nose room or the lead room rule. If you're going to capture an image in motion, you want to leave some space in front of the direction that is moving. You can see with this airplane here, this one looks pretty great, okay? All this did is just move this over here, and this one looks odd. As humans, we like to see what's in front. We like to see the image and where it's moving. This looks like it's about to run into a wall, whereas in this one seems a little bit more fluid. So you want to make sure that when you're doing these, if you're doing motion and somebody's like running across it, you want to, in the direction they're looking or they're moving, you want to put something in front of it. Okay, coming up on the last few here. This one is pattern. I'm not going to go into this one a lot. You know pattern. It's just taking an image that repeats over and over and over. You can see here, this one's got this pattern made from the grass on the bottom here. Here's another one. Now, just so that you know, patterns don't, it's repeating, but it doesn't have to be identical right next to each other. So, for example, this one, it doesn't go red, blue, it goes, yellow, red, blue, yellow, red, blue. So a pattern can be anything that kind of repeats in some way, shape, or form. All right, we're coming up on the end here. Bear with me here, the last two. So this one is harmony and unity. Taking photos of images with similar elements to create that the sense that the objects belong together. So this one has got this similar yellowish green warm tone throughout the entire thing to make it feel like these are all together. Here is another one. This one's got mostly all cool colors. So you've got these purples and blues throughout the entire thing, making this sense of harmony or unity throughout all of it. This one, if you look at this one, the one that this is using is it's got this texture feeling throughout of it. You've got all this texture all over it. So while this is black and white, it's feeling like it's got this sense of unity because of the immense amount of texture throughout the entire project. Okay, last one is proportion. Proportion is you're putting two objects next to each other to show the size difference between them. Okay, so you've got these two identical shoes, and one is obviously bigger than the other one. Okay, spatial proportion is when you take an object that it's shown to be a different size because of how far away it is. So you've got this wheat right here that appears to be much bigger than the tree, but it's not, because this is close up and that's far away. So you're showing proportion based on how far away an object is. So you can put them right next to each other, or you can put them far away from each other. The last one kind of has to do with our depth of field that we did. You put two objects in the same depth of field, but they're obviously, one's very close, one's very far away. So this one, you've got this object here very close. This one's very far away, but they appear to be in the same visual depth of field, so it's messing with the proportion. Here's another example. You can do comparative proportion, whereas if you would just isolate these two over here, okay, you wouldn't know. It would just be a picture of this little people here. If you just took this and looked at it, it would just be a picture of a cigarette. But when you put the two of them together, you're getting a sense of how big that is. In order for this to work, you need something you know how big it is. So the reason we know how small these people are is because we know how